Oh, in the land of well springs, where the fog rolls in real slow, there's a tale of a girl who put it in her butt, you know. She said with a grimace as Whiskers took her cherry, I bet if you shaved that beard off, you'd look just like Drew Carey. Look just like Drew Carey. Hello, friends! Trace amounts of science. Married Mary coming back in today. If you missed the previous couple episodes, those links in the description. We are pounding through some sagas, and yes, Cringy Val also has another treat coming up for us featuring the Plague Doctor. But I don't want to spoil anything too much, so we'll focus on this for now. Here's where we are, so let's get into it. Married Mary takes a beard ride. Part number 4. Oh, has she not done that already? I presume that that's what was happening the entire time, but okay. Confirmation is great. Welcome back to the seedy underbelly of the Wellsprings theater community. You might regret it. This portion of the story carries a trigger warning for possible female perpetrated boom misconduct. If you're new here, well, I'm Val, your OP, and I am Beard Bait. The Legbeard of this story is Mary. She's currently having a meltdown because a weird, bearded dude named Whiskers hasn't responded to her lewd text messages. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be interested either, but it seems to mean a lot to Mary. You know, maybe just a pity sausage selfie or something.
How's that look?
It looks like a nightmare.
All the while, he's sitting next to me, chatting away and smelling heavily of woman's perfume. I'm getting the impression that Mary isn't his one and only, as it smells like he has just been very close to another woman. Oh, you mean the perfume smell or that fish market smell? You know what I'm saying. Gets all caught up in your beard, he doesn't even wash it. Nasty. Whiskers asks, so what game are you playing right now? NOP says, Borderlands 2? I'm on my second playthrough. I'm playing as Axton, the commando this time. Whiskers, good game. Great villain. I think Axton's a pretty boy D-bag, though. I play as Sal, the gun zerker. OP, I suck playing as Sal. My favorite playable character's Gage, the Mechromancer. I guess I always like having a killer automaton to help me mow down those bandits. Whiskers, dual wielding's the only way to go. OP, yeah, not for me. But Gearbox was smart to cater to a lot of different playstyles. I am sort of weak for Borderlands. Haven't played it that much, but like good old-fashioned looter shooter, you know? And the art style, mwah! Then Whisker says, I guess. Oh, I still owe you a basket of grilled chicken tenders. I haven't forgotten. OP, no, you don't. That was Mary's bad, not yours. Whiskers, speaking of her, he sighed, I'm just not feeling it. OP, really? You guys seemed pretty cozy at the pub last week. Whiskers, I told her we needed to cool things off. OP, well, if one person's not feeling it, then it's no fun for either person. I've been on both sides of that coin, and yeah, they both suck. Yeah, plus, you know, she's married Mary and all that. All I'm saying is you better be careful, because if her husband ever grows a dick, he's gonna shoot you right in the face. Whiskers, but I feel guilty when I want to cool it because she gets so upset. I've never had a woman go crazy over me like this. It's kind of annoying, but I'm also a little bit flattered. OP says, yeah, I think crazy is the operative word there. I'm telling you, she's so desperate for attention, it's sad. She just needs someone, anyone, to make her feel like she's worth something. I think that's really sad. You don't need somebody else to validate you, or you shouldn't need somebody else to validate you. Clearly, Mary does. Even outside of, like, relationship things, even friendship things, she's just sort of weird and attention-seeking, and I guess that's the cringe that comprises most of this saga. Whisker says, yeah, maybe. Hey, would you help me dump her? Before I had time to respond, Whiskers grabbed me and smushed his gnarly beard into my face. It didn't exactly smell the best. I pushed him away, laughing a little and trying not to offend him. I'm not sure that this is the way to do it. Yeah, you don't cheat on somebody to break up with them. Be a man. Have a conversation. Although Mary, probably a pretty hard person to have a conversation with. But this is the right way to do it, damn it. Whiskers says, "Please, OP, I need help. I'm already ignoring her text, but she's blowing up my phone every other minute. I'm not kidding. I have over 100 texts from her, just from today." Yeah, she's like pretty sprung for real, for real. OP says, "Have you tried blocking her number?" Whiskers, "What if I get randy and I don't have time to go out and chat up someone new?" OP, are you joking? He's not joking. Whiskers, "Oh, sorry. Of course I'm joking. That was probably off color. Blocking her number is a good idea, but I need to thoroughly piss her off. She knows where I live, and I've seen her sitting on my doorstep, sometimes for hours. I think she pees in my bushes, too." Yeah, marking her territory out. That's what's happening there. Who hasn't been there before once or twice, you know? A little bit of light stalking. Some musky marking with the pheromones. Come on. But OP has a proper, serious response and says, geez, Whiskers, she's like full-on stalking you. You need to call the police." Whiskers, I can't do that." OP, why not? Whiskers, It's complicated. Look, if she sees me with another girl, maybe she'll get the hint. Please just act like we're making out. We don't even have to make out for real. It could be like a stage kiss." Where are your balls, sir? Maybe she'll get the hint, yeah. And maybe she'll consider me a love rival and knife me down in an alley. I think I'm good. OP says, look, it can't be me. Honestly, I'm scared of Mary. Plus, my best friend and my former partner in crime are both in the improv troupe, so I don't want to make these shows awkward. Whiskers, partner in crime? OP, cat burglary. Whiskers, whoa, it's really hot. I need to ask. But the lights were dimmed and our conversation was cut short. What a coon-brain moron. He really just can't keep it in his pants. And the most enraging thing is that OP is participating. Not out and out gung-ho, but you are participating. It's edging slowly more towards the line, which you should not cross, and I know you see it, but still you decide to let it happen. So that's a mystery that we'll probably need to unpack at a later date. Anyway, I really did want to help Whiskers escape the crazy clutches of Mary. I also wanted Mary to find a man who was as enthusiastic about her as she was about him. Yeah, like her husband. Presumably her husband wasn't a contender. Suffice it to say, I felt bad for both of them in different ways, but I was at a loss for how to handle this level of crazy, which made me feel like a bit of a failure since I was studying to be a sex therapist, but I'd have to chew on those thoughts a little bit later. Yeah, this is all practice therapy. You're not even getting paid for it yet, and honestly, yeah, I think this is too deep a problem for an amateur. Put your hands up, display your palms as a show of submission, and slowly back out of the room. Never interact again. Showtime! I don't know if that's a different story or just the show's actually starting, but the show was different that night. Mary was wearing a white crop top that really didn't contain her Jupiters at all. No bra, so yeah, the nip slips were basically near constant. It's terrible.
Well, Charles Dickens would have wanted to see her nipples then.
Is this on purpose? Is this how she's gonna reel somebody else in? Whether it's Whiskers or somebody completely new, I'm sure she doesn't care. Somebody just come up here and validate me! She was also wearing a micro mini plaid skirt that must have been at least 3 sizes too small. Furthermore, an even more ill-fitting thong rode up past her waist, squeezing floppy, fleshy cutlets out from each side of her attire. Oh, that's unfortunate. And if she bent over, even slightly, those standing behind her got an eyeful of the stubbly folds that the itty-bitty thong simply couldn't cover. Oh my god. I thought this was a comedy show. I mean, I guess it is sort of funny, but like in the weirdest, most pathetic way possible. I don't think I like this. This is not what I signed up for. Tell me a joke aside from like, I'm fat and my clothes are too small.
That guy in a little coat.
Audience members either stared, transfixed by the naughty view, or they instantly looked away, horrified by the sight itself, or perhaps horrified by their own visceral reaction to the strangely alluring stubbly folds. Oh, come on, who's actually into that? Go home, you're drunk. Somebody probably would stare. But I know for me, personally, if I want to see a pig's vag, I'd go visit old MacDonald on his farm, With a here and a there. Oh, that's stupid. Now, one could view her through a disdainful lens and scoff at her unflattering attire, or one could view her as a confident, liberated woman. And then there were those who viewed her as a woman who was flaunting her availability for all manner of debauched fun. All of these lenses, honestly, were probably valid, if only she had worn a similar outfit in a different size, with a different cut, and functional underwear. She probably would have looked smoking, and would have attracted a different, possibly more genuine type of amorous attention from men. But, if I'm being realistic, Mary probably preferred the horned-up, lecherous attention. She absolutely does. It's easier to get, too. She ain't built for commitment, see? She's built for the streets, see? The street right outside the comedy club. But despite undoubtedly inspiring a bunch of boners in the audience with her ill-fitting attire, Mary was so mopey and distraught. She was dragging down the energy of every scene they acted out, and she clearly forgot her lines during the scripted bit. The others tried to cover for her, but even they couldn't save it completely. Finally, during a scene where the suggestion was hijacking a train, Mary hijacked the scene. She sat on the edge of the stage and wailed hysterically about how men suck, and that her venerated Vagoo would not be ignored by some callous giant with a tantalizing tallywhacker. The audience, having been fairly quiet throughout the show, actually did start to laugh at that point. I was under the presumption that the entire improv show was supposed to be funny. If this is the only point at which people laughed, yeah, that's a really bad sign. Mary then says hysterically, "It's not funny! My heart is broken! I let him blast me in the butt, and he can't even send a friendly good morning text!" The audience laughed even louder. Yeah, probably not the people to go to for sympathy, honestly. Whiskers slid out of his seat at this point and tried to disappear. Yeah, why the hell did he even show up in the first place? I guess just to mac on OP a little bit. Still a scumbag. OP tries to write him a little bit better. He's not a complete degenerate quite yet, but he's pretty far down the path at this point. George Strait, desperate to get Mary to calm down and desperate to show the audience a good time, two goals that seemed diametrically opposed in that moment, grabbed the microphone and said, "Who's in the mood for a campfire sing-along?" The audience clapped in support of his suggestion. "I don't want a campfire sing-along. I want a whose line is it anyways hoedown. Bum 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 bum. Bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum. Oh, in the land of Wellsprings where the fog rolls in real slow, there's a tale of a girl who put it in her butt, you know. She said with a grimace as Whiskers took her cherry, I bet if you shaved that beard off, you'd look just like Drew Carey. Look just like Drew Carey. God, I missed that show, dude. George Strait then retrieves his guitar from stage left and says, "Then somebody shout out a song. Whose line is it anyways? Hoedown. Bum, bum, bum." No, I'm not going to do it again. Lucy put her arm around the sobbing Mary and shouted, "Proud Mary!" The audience was receptive, so George Strait began to strum the guitar. "Left a good job in the city." The audience chimed in. Soon everyone was on their feet and the improvers were pulling people up on stage. Lucy grabbed me and then she did a double take when she saw Whiskers crouching in the aisle, but I was happy to get on stage and sing along. We were finally having some fun. Even Mary was smiling, seeing as the song was in her honor. I got a little lost in the music and dancing for a moment, and I missed the bit where Mary went into the audience and managed to sniff out Whiskers. Like I said, I don't even know why he's here. I mean, I do, but it's a terrible excuse to be there. He could have snuck out. Now you gotta help Mary to be the center of everything. Congratulations! She led him upstage by the hand and began suggestively dancing all up on him. Whiskers was being a good sport and moving to the music, but he wasn't exactly returning Mary's affection. "Man, the boys are gonna see me out here with this fat girl dancing on me. I can't do it." He doesn't have any boys. His only boy is Pongo. And Maury, I guess. I guess that's a thing at this point, since he is a waiter, as mentioned. Yeah, there's a lot of backstory in the Funky P saga, if you're not privy to what I'm talking about. Anyway, Mary grabbed his hand once again and shoved it under her skirt and began to grind more salaciously. Finger blast me on stage, you bearded beast!
Finger blasting is the best.
What? Even over the enthusiastic singing, I could hear Mary's impression of an adult film star. This is awful. I hate all of this. The song wrapped up, and the cheering died down just as Mary, concluded. I could see Tia G hurriedly ushering Georgina out of the theater, and George Gay ran right after them. Oh, that's right, there's a 16-year-old child in the audience, watching an overweight woman get finger blasted on stage during a campfire sing-along. Wow. We just take all types of twists and turns with these videos, don't we? When I glanced back upstage, I couldn't spot Whiskers. This was a bit unnerving because Whiskers was almost 7 feet tall, if you factored in his spiky hair. Had Mary actually managed to abduct him? Was he hogtied in the dressing room? Was it my job to rescue him? No, but I got the feeling that nobody else was aware of how truly uncomfortable he was, so I decided to prowl around the theater in search of a lumpy bombshell and a bearded giant. I bet he took her to the bathroom, round two of blasting that snot box, you know? Snot box. I could hear another song start up, so things were about to get loud in the theater again. The dressing room door was open, so I crept inside and scanned the room for the signs of a struggle. No one was there. As the audience belted out, "Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Count the headlights on the highway. Baby darling, he's so blended. You had a visitor today. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum." Okay, look, I'm no Elton John, but I'm feeling it. I'd probably sing along too. Anyways, OP walked through a narrow hallway that served as backstage, and there was still no one. I went to the back of the theater and checked the bar area. Nothing. But then I heard adult film star noises coming from the box office. I peered over the counter to see Whiskers prostrate on the floor, with Mary bouncing on his bushy beard. I quickly looked away, but decided to stay within earshot. Now, you don't want to hear what's going to happen here. This is not going to turn out well. Cut ties. Cut and run. What's wrong with that? What was I supposed to do? Was this consensual? I mean, Mary might have been on the chunky side, but Whiskers was, despite being on the lanky side, tall and male. Surely he could have fought her off if this act wasn't consensual, but what if she had threatened him or coerced him? Then again, it might have felt emasculating to have some weird little perky emo chick jump in to save a big strong man from some coerced cunnilingus, especially if it wasn't actually coerced. And then there was the selfish, or perhaps self-preserving side of me that remembered how incensed Mary had been when I spoke to Whiskers during their first date. So I could only imagine that she would beat the holy mess out of me if I got in the way of her climax. Has anyone ever faced this kind of perverse moral quandary? Faced it? Yes. Also, immediately walked away from it, so I didn't have to face it. That was the quandary for me. Do I get involved? No. Immediately, no. I just want to go home. No. As the song ended and the applause died down, Mary actually put a lid on it this time. George Strait asked the audience to please give the show one more chance and proposed a two-person scene with Lucy. Someone shouted out, "Marriage proposal gone wrong!" So George and Lucy launched into the scene. Instead of George proposing to Lucy, Lucy proposed to George. She got down on one knee, poured out a nauseating declaration of undying love that sounded like it was somewhat inspired by Mary's endless nattering about her undying love for Whiskers, and she finished with, "George, will you make me the happiest woman in the world and do me the honor of being my husband?" George, my name's Ben. That got a big laugh. A big enough laugh to coax Mary out of her box office nookie nest. Mary couldn't stand it when other members of the troupe got more attention than she did. "Yeah, sure, like to think you do it with your tongue, but we gotta put that on pause." There's another type of satisfaction that I can only get from a group of people. That sounds wrong, actually. Mary then screeches, "That's my boyfriend, you little hussy!" And of course, that got another laugh. Mary joined the scene, and it continued to get some good laughs. I wanted to pay attention, but I also wanted to duck into the box office and check on Whiskers. OP, hey Whisk, you alright? Whiskers, hey Val, glad to see a sane face. I'm fine, I'm just a bit violated. OP, yeah, I saw her grinding up against you on stage. Whiskers, she did more than that. OP, did she? Whiskers, yeah, she basically banged herself with my finger. That is a violation. OP says, dude, that's not okay. Whiskers, well, I never complained about getting my finger wet. He raised his eyebrows suggestively. This whole situation was so hard to read. Is it? It seems crystal clear to me what's happening here. He's coming on to you just after he got finished finger blasting and muff diving. OP says, look, I don't want to say the wrong thing, so blink twice if you need help. Whiskers opened his blue eyes as widely as he could and kept them open. It was creepy. OP says, okay, so you were cool hooking up with her? Whiskers, meh. OP, what does that even mean? Whiskers, oh, well, she's not my first choice. I came here with the intention of making her jealous enough to leave me alone, but I'm not gonna turn down free cookie. Cool, right, so no standards whatsoever. Got it. I think he smacked his lips, but I couldn't be sure since his gigantic beard obscured his mouth, and the freakish facial hair was actually glistening a bit. OP? Gross. But you're good? Whiskers suggestively. You tell me. He grabbed my shoulders and invaded my face with that ratchet beard again. I forcefully pushed him away this time. OP? Ew! Get off me! I know where you have just been. Whiskers? Fair enough. I am gonna ditch her, though. Hey, could I have your number? I've lost all respect for you, OP, if you do it. There's plenty of ways to go about it, and this is not fucking one of them. OP says, why? Whiskers, I thought maybe you could help me brainstorm. OP, throw a drink in her face and tell her to go screw next time? Whiskers, that could work. But seriously, I really could use some female advice right now. I sighed. Okay, maybe I could log this as practicum hours. Whiskers, meaning. OP, well, I'm studying to be a sex therapist, so this is probably good practice. Oh my god, any excuse in the book. Nah, I'm not buying it, dude. The signs were right in front of your face. You refused to read them. Everything that happens after this point is really only your own fault. At this point, Whisker says, I knew you were the right person to talk to. And I suppose that was the night that our friendship began. He was disappointed to learn that I wasn't actually a criminal. I just played one in a universally reviled musical. That was a double down vote in his mind, so he knocked off the suggestive behavior. Yeah, for a little while, I guess. Until he couldn't find any other free cookie, and he's like, hey, how about we just, bust one out just to try? But yes, Whiskers kept talking to me, despite the fact that my status as a law-abiding citizen was apparently a boner kill. Well, good. I had no interest in giving him one of those. Should all this have been a warning sign? Well, no shit. Ask yourself, how many times have guys gushed over mugshots of attractive women? How many guys have openly admitted to fapping over fictional villainesses? Harley Quinn, hello? And girls are equally apt to drool over sexy villains. Yes, see every instance of Tumblr sexy men. Personally, I prefer a woman who lives their life within the confines of the law. I've seen some really, down bad reply guys on Twitter that are like, oh, I'll write to that inmate. It doesn't matter, she murdered her last boyfriend. It's like, dude, are you really that thirsty? Come on. At that point, a fictional villainess is a better option, I guess, but yeah, I'm not going for the fictional thing either. Is it really so much to ask? I want a real woman who lives a legitimate life within the confines of the law. I found precisely one, she's now my wife. Anyway, even vile, real-world criminals seem to appeal to some, so I thought nothing of Whisker's excitement over the possibility that I was a criminal. I'm not saying that kind of thing is indicative of unassailable honor, but it's certainly not unusual. Anyways, I hope to see you guys in the next chapter, because we're going to a bizarre party at Mary's house. Yeah, this is the last person that I ever want to party with on the planet. Thank you so much. Seems to me like all these people got their heads screwed on backwards in one way or another. But then again, as I say often, life is a fairly rich tapestry. How interesting would the story be if they were just a bunch of gray people on the omnibus eating gray sludge? Is that the story you want? Is it? I don't think so. Let's dig into some more cringe with part number 5, and we'll do it right now. Party at a Legbeard's? This is gonna be crazy! Married Mary, part number 5. Spoiler alert, please do not expect a fun party. Yeah, I definitely didn't. This is gonna be like a Legbeard Amanda type of party. A Moby Vic type of party. I was gonna say Unfortunookie, but I don't think they partied very much. Anywho, yes, Mary is a needy, clingy, boy-crazy Legbeard, and she's throwing a party. OP is a burlesque dancer who's friends with a few members of Mary's improv troupe. I don't think this chapter calls for a full cast list or a detailed character description, so let's just jump in. But please note that this chapter is a bit longer than previous chapters, so let's take a deep breath and steel ourselves before we face Mary in her own Legbeard sanctuary. A nest is what we usually call. Is it a nest? Oh yeah. Trigger warning for mentions of female perpetrated hanky-panky misconduct, and we're into chapter 5, Epididymis. Not Oedipus, Epididymis. A few weeks after Tia G's glorious Chris Hansen impression and Mary's public meltdown, I got a Facebook invite to a party at Mary's. Yes, I accepted her friend requests. Yes, she posted way too many histrionic rants to catalog. Yes, she posted uncomfortably provocative selfies every few hours. But the weirdest thing that she did was tagging me in posts and pictures when I wasn't there at all. She posted a picture of herself in a string bikini, smoking a cigarette on her porch, and captioned it, "Smoking and sunning with my girl Val." I hate the sun. She tagged me in a post saying that we were headed off to see the Avengers, and posted a picture of herself in an ill-fitting Black Widow costume. I'm not a big fan of the MCU. I mean, it's not bad, I just don't get really overly excited about it. My nerdiness doesn't extend to superheroes for whatever reason. That's fine, we get to pick and choose those things. I'm not into anime personally. But yeah, those random tags are really weird. Are you sure it wasn't like you plus all her other friends? She's just really, really hungry for some sort of reaction? Or maybe she's still trying to make OP think they're besties so OP doesn't move in on the man that she likes. Anyway, soon I found out that she had pulled all this same crap with Lucy immediately after they met. She posted a picture of a tattoo shop, tagged Lucy, and captioned it, "Getting inked and drunk, I love Lucy." And she had followed the post with some random close-up of matching Targaryen sigil tattoos. Lucy commented, "I'm a Stark, bitch." No love for the Lannisters. What a shame, what a shame. As odd as all of this seemed, it didn't feel like an unfriending-worthy offense. It just seemed worrying. And that brings me to the worrying party invite. "Hubby's out of town, party at my place." Weren't they separated? I was so confused. But the event description was even stranger. "My dearest loved ones, my dashing darling husband and gallant protector is going out of town on important business, and I can't get through the weekend without some company. I beg you to come over this Friday night, BYOB. And make sure to be a gracious guest and bring groceries from Gelson's for your glamorous hostess. Person that brings the best bag of groceries wins a very special secret prize. Tongue emoji, bleh." Yeah, I'm not gonna buy you like $20 to $50 worth of groceries for a prize that I might not even get. I don't even know what it is. Someone had commented, considerately inquiring what kind of groceries Mary needed. To this, she replied with a lengthy Gelson's wish list that included items like filet mignon, branzino, langoustine, Dom Perignon, Ghirardelli chocolates. The list was insanely specific and insanely expensive. The querent replied to the comment with a string of cry laughing emojis. Yeah, I ain't bringing shit. Probably I ain't even gonna show up. Like, why would you show up? I want to imagine her sitting in her house alone crying that nobody showed up. Maybe that'll finally get the message through to her. Anyway, Lucy felt obligated to attend just to placate Mary, and she begged me to come with her. Why not? Lucy was fun to hang out with. The Georges were fun to hang out with. I liked parties. Mary was sure to be unintentionally entertaining. How bad could it be? Well, you seem intent on finding out, so go find out. Lucy insisted that we needed to come up with a secret signal in case things got weird and one of us wanted to bail. A safe word, if you will. I suggested epididymis because it's a funny word, and we were studying male anatomy in one of my classes. I'm immature. Aren't we all? Kind of a difficult one to just slide into a conversation, though. Hey, bro, how's your epididymis feeling? I'm a woman. Also, let's go. OP says, "Are we going to buy her groceries?" Lucy, "Fuck that noise. I'm just bringing a six-pack." OP, "But I remember her saying she doesn't get enough food at home. I'm not buying her filet mignon, but maybe like some frozen dinners? A veggie tray?" Lucy, "Slim Fast shakes?" We laughed. Were we mean girls? I mean, yeah, but she deserves it. It's fine. OP says, "I'll bring a bottle of $2 Chuck and a gift certificate for Trader Joe's, not Gelson's. She could get more bang for her buck there." Lucy, "You are way too nice, Val." Yeah, maybe. True, Mary didn't appear to be starving, judging from the vajiggle-jaggle that she so frequently flaunted, but Maybe she was chunky because she'd been living on ramen noodles and Wonder Bread. I decided that a gift certificate to a store with healthy food and low prices would be a considerate gesture. Plus, I had no desire to actually win whatever the hell the prize was. I definitely don't believe that she doesn't get enough food at home. I pressed X to doubt the first time I heard it, and I'm doing it again. Anybody with eyes can see she eats like a monster. So on Friday night, I grabbed my $2 chuck and a $20 gift certificate to Trader Joe's. I headed out, picked up Lucy, and drove all the way to Mary's house. I should probably mention that I had been communicating with Whiskers on a fairly regular basis ever since the night of the shit show, and what I was hearing from Whiskers did not match what Lucy was telling me about Mary's oscillation between raging lust and butthurt hysteria. Lucy says, last week he was the biggest crap bag to ever walk the earth and he had a tiny wiener, but this week she was gushing about how they'd done it underneath the Christmas tree at the mall, and she said it was like Hallmark adult videos, whatever that's supposed to mean. Oh yeah, Andy's hung like a horse again. OP, Whiskers told me that he's just sending her dong pics every few days. He said that seems to keep her from flipping out on him. Apparently she loves them, Lucy. So he didn't mention the mall? OP, nope. But he said he caught her camping out on his doorstep last week and he, threw it at her just to get her to leave. But then she followed him to work and wound up getting banned from Vert. Fat girl on the doorstep, why don't you stick it in just a little bit? So he did. Lucy, did he say what she did? OP, apparently she ordered a buttload of food and alcohol and then just skipped out on her tab. Lucy, she's lucky she didn't get arrested. OP, Whiskers said that he let them take her tab out of his paycheck. Lucy, she did say that he white knighted her. I thought it was some sort of intimacy thing, and yeah, I didn't really want to hear about it. We're learning to not ask questions, and I think that's great. I pulled up to Mary's house, and it was in a nice neighborhood. There was nothing tacky, nothing disheveled, also nothing particularly posh about this home. I don't know what I had been expecting, but I supposed I had imagined at least a hint of some absurdity. When Lucy and I entered the house, things were just as unremarkable on the inside. Southwestern decor, not unusual for a small city in SoCal. No obvious mess, no toys out in the open. Mary ran to greet us at the door, nearly knocking both of us over with her enthusiasm. She was wearing a hot pink bodycon dress that was at least 2 sizes too small, but her makeup was on point, and her hair was beautifully curled. I'm describing her appearance to remind the reader that despite the Legbeard personality and the minor heft, Mary was a pretty girl. But, say it with me, it's the beard on the inside that counts. Oh my god, I just wore that t-shirt today. Are you kidding me? We're bringing that catchphrase back? Alright, then I'm game. And she definitely does have that beard on the inside. The ego, the entitlements, just, yeah, a whole bunch of yuck. I handed her the gift certificate. Groceries for the hostess. I don't shop at Gelson's, but Trader Joe's has some amazing stuff. Mary,
oh, Valley Boo, you little hipster pixie. I love going to Trader Joe's and feeling all granola. Thankies.
Lucy, I brought beer. OP, I brought wine, but do you mind if I grab a bottle of water first, Mary? Mary,
that's cool. You can raid my fridge as long as you're only taking water, but you have to get drunk once the party gets going.
I never get drunk once the party gets going. You want to know my secret? I hold the same beer the entire night. Just walk around with it. Somebody offers you one, you're like, yeah, I'm good, bro. Still good. Been nursing this thing for the last 3 hours. Unless I'm trying to get sloppy, and then, yeah, 20 minutes later, I'm gonna need a re-up. Anyway, I opened Mary's fridge to find that it was fully stocked. She's a liar. Fruit juice, soda, water, white wine, meat, veggies, salad dressing, various other condiments. George Gay rounded the corner and we exchanged hugs and hellos. OP, I didn't know you were here already. George Gay. Yeah, I'm the loser who showed up early to the party. Mary needed some help cleaning. OP. So, are you responsible for this fully stocked fridge? Are you gonna win the mystery prize? George laughed and said in a hushed tone, Girl, Mary has always got food. She makes the hub sound like a D-bag because he refuses to waste money on the fancy crap she wants, but she isn't starving. Obvi. Yeah, we all do that the entire time. How could you let her pull the wool over your eyes, OP? Come on. People don't get that large while they're starving, okay? Mary shouted from the living room, Valley Boo! OP said, It's just Val. What's up, scary Mary? I went over and sat down with Mary and Lucy on the couch. Mary,
What did your burlesque mommy say about my tease at the spooky show?
OP, she's never said anything. I don't think she was offended, if that's what you were worried about. Mary,
But that was my audition!
Oh dear. That was not at all the way to go about auditioning for our burlesque troupe. It hadn't even occurred to me that the gauche gyrating, followed by the dubiously desired lap dance, had been intended as an audition. We certainly did not do that sort of nonsense in our shows. Sure, our performances were on the risque side, but we never crossed the line into vulgarity. Yeah, I'm looking for like a boudoir photo with the hands over the nips. Not a direct HD photo of the clam cave opening.
Show me.
OP says, like I said before, if you want to schedule an audition, I'll be glad to give you Mad Mox's contact info. Or you could just like our page on Facebook and get in touch with her that way. Do you have any dance experience on your resume? Mary,
Why does that matter? She's already seen my dancing and my magnificent mammer jammers. I should have been offered a position on the spot.
Mary huffed a little, and then I saw tears well up in her eyes. Oh, Jesus. Damn it. I wasn't trying to offend her by, once again, explaining the concept of an audition, but then I realized that she was staring woefully at George Strait, who had just entered with a gorgeous, leggy brunette on his arm. She really does just take everything personally. I don't get it. Like, we're not dating, so yeah, I decided to date somebody else, and she's like,
How could you?
Lucy went over to greet George and his date. I started to follow her, but Mary grabbed my arm and pulled me out onto the back porch, weeping hysterically. OP, what the hell just happened, Mary? Mary, sobbing.
I used to date George. Straight, not gay.
Obvi. Mary.
It's just so hard to see him with someone else.
OP, I didn't know you guys had history. Yeah, it's tough to see an ex with somebody new, but you're still hot and heavy with whiskers, right? Mary, still sniffling.
He's spending the weekend with me, but he hasn't texted me to let me know what time he's getting here. I think I'm so bad right now.
She then broke down into a fit of utter hysterics, completely ruining her marvelous makeup. My phone started chirping in my purse. Uh-oh. It's Whiskers for sure. This is scandalous. Mary squeaks,
You can answer your phone.
OP, it can wait. Let's fix that pretty face. Mary, hugging me far too tightly once again.
Thank you, Valley Boo. You can go get my makeup wipes out of the bathroom. It's down the hall. Second door on the right.
I ran inside, ventured down the hall, and opened the second door on the right. Mary's bathroom was a wreck, but I've certainly left my fair share of bathrooms wrecked after getting ready for some festive event. Can't really judge her too much for that. But certain aspects of the wreckage seemed dangerous. There were several wine glasses on the side of the bathtub, A diva cup sat atop a pile of butt floss on the back of the toilet. Not very sanitary. And that is a menstrual cup for those that are confused. I thought you were talking about like a pimp chalice, but for ladies. You call it a diva cup. Also, the curling iron was still plugged in. There were no sign of the makeup wipes, so I started rifling around through the drawers. And you guessed it, phallic objects galore. Are we talking about just like the back of a hairbrush, or like she spent actual real money on a silicone dong? You know what? Don't tell me. It's fine. I eventually found a bag of makeup wipes underneath a 2-pack of Fleet enemas. Jesus. Although, I guess if you are going to do the butt blasting, yeah, keep it clean. I took the makeup wipes, unplugged the curling iron, and headed back towards the distraught damsel on the porch. It appeared that I had become the Mary sitter. Where the hell was George Gay? As I passed through the house, I noticed that a small crowd had gathered. A few suckers had even left Gelson's bags on the countertop in the kitchen. Mary was still sobbing quietly when I returned to her, handing her the makeup wipes, and I pulled out my sparkly Hello Kitty compact mirror from my purse. Mary's eyes lit up. Mary,
I knew we were soul sisters. I love Hello Kitty.
OP, well then, cheers to never outgrowing the relics of our childhood. Mary took a makeup wipe, grabbed my Hello Kitty compact, and began to clean up her mascara smudges. OP, are you gonna be okay? Mary,
I'll be cheerio as soon as my darling whiskey rings. Listen, your accent's rubbing off on me.
As I said before, I barely have an accent, and she wasn't using cheerio in the proper context. Plus, it's a fairly archaic expression. I didn't bother correcting her, however. Yep, just another way for Mary to look like an ass. Mary dabbed her eyes one more time and turned to face me.
How do I look?
OP, like new. You got great skin, Mary.
I know. Hey, I'm keeping this mirror.
OP, what? No. I'm sorry, Mary, that was a gift from my brothers. I can't let you have it, Mary.
But you owe me.
This again? I had tried to be so nice to her. What possible infraction had I committed in her twisted mind this time? OP, I owe you, Mary.
Yeah, you get to be a burlesque dancer, and I want to do that so badly, and you just got it handed to you. That's not fair. So hand over the Hello Kitty mirror, and we'll call it even.
How about I don't break your fucking arm and we'll call it even? As I reached for the mirror, Mary snapped it shut and shoved it into her cleavage. Then she pushed her Jupiters together and added a haughty little humph. What the actual At last, George Gay floated outside and told Mary to get those luscious curves inside and start playing hostess. And Mary obliged. I tapped George on the shoulder and begged him to retrieve my mirror from Mary's massive bosom. He sighed heavily. Not again. OP, again? This is something she does on the reg? George, yeah, she's a total klepto, but I got you, sis. Just give me some time. I'll shame her into giving it back. I would have physically retrieved it, but yeah, this is probably a nicer way to go about it. I thanked George, and we made some jokes about cat burglars from Cats plotting to reclaim stolen property, and then I went back inside. Lucy ran up to me and whispered, "Do we need to epididymis yet?" OP, not yet. She stole my mirror, and George is gonna talk her into giving it back. I'm hoping that he's the Merry Whisperer. Lucy, she stole my vibe one time. OP, what? Lucy, yeah, I had everybody over after rehearsal one night, and then I noticed the vibrator was missing a few days later. She didn't even deny it. She just said I owed her since I had gotten to do a stage kiss with George Strait. OP, there is a whole drawer full of toys in her bathroom if you want to go steal it back. Lucy, No, I got roped into going to one of those awful pure romance parties, so it was pretty much a pity purchase. Plus, I don't want it back with her junk juice all over it. As I was composing myself from laughing way too hard at junk juice, my phone chirped again. I checked it this time, and guess who? Whiskers was texting me. Whiskers, what are you doing? God damn it, dude. This ain't gonna go well at all. Whiskers, Val, I'm bored. OP, I'm at your not girlfriend's house. Aren't you coming over later to spend the weekend with her? Whiskers, can't. Gaming. OP, Borderlands. Whiskers, Shadowrun. OP, I haven't heard of that one. Whiskers, tabletop RPG at my friend's house till Sunday. We play all weekend. And you can see how those weekends go in the Funky P Saga. OP says, damn, that's some dedication. Whiskers, I'm on a break now. The GM's kind of weird. OP, well, you should probably let Mary know that you won't make it. Whiskers, meh. OP, tell her. It'll be worse in the long run if you don't. Yeah, he doesn't care about any of that, dude. He's gonna let her hang out to dry until she finally realizes it's over. Whisker says, I don't have the energy for her. I got more important things to do. I'm the street samurai. I'm the strongest shadow runner in this universe. I'm gonna dual-wield SMGs on some goons. Gotta roll. Blow on my dice. Winky face emoji. I rolled my eyes and shoved my phone back into my purse. Like I said, OP, everything that happens from this point onward is your fault. I'd like to cringe, and I am, but mostly just because you're still encouraging this. I'm not fully grasping why quite yet. Lucy asks, so who was that? And OP whispers, Whiskers. Lucy, is he on his way over? OP, he's not coming. He's playing Dungeons and Dragons or something all weekend, apparently. Lucy, Mary's gonna lose her fool mind again. Let's epididymis before that happens. OP, absolutely. Lucy, oh, and let me introduce you to George Strait's girlfriend. But before we could make our way to the lovely new couple, Mary stepped in front of us. Yeah, just a buffalo hoving its way onto the train tracks. There's no way we could get around that, fellas. We just gotta wait it out. Mary says,
Well, I'm happy to see you're finally over me, Mr. Engorged George.
George Strait, Mary, we never dated. Please stop acting like we did. Mary,
I blew you.
George Strait pulls Mary aside and said, I was asleep, and I put a stop to it as soon as I done woke up. Mary,
oh, but you were engorged when I started suckling you.
Ugh.
Why don't you come down here so I can suck your pretty boy?
Put her in jail, please. There's no fixing this. George Strait, that just happens to guys in our sleep. It's male physiology, not desire. Mary,
whatever you have to tell yourself.
As George and Mary were having this little exchange, George's date leaned towards us and whispered, he's already told me about this, and he warned me that she was gonna be weird. Yeah, why would you even bring your date here? What? I skipped this shit for sure. Lucy, that woman should be on a list. Fuck the list. Behind bars, okay? The list is not enough. Clearly. But everybody just kind of laughs it off, looks the other way, because she's a woman, and she's fat. Of course she'd gobble up your goo. What did you think was gonna happen? Oh my god. George rejoined the conversation, properly introduced me to Megan, and shook off his conversation with Mary. I know it's a heavy subject, but can we all acknowledge that what Mary did to George Strait was illegal, to say the very least? Somnolence is not consent, neither is a stiffy. Even before you got there, OP, I'm miles ahead of you. I even seem more incensed about it than the people that it happened to, the people that witnessed it. And I don't really know why that is, except for the fact that she's a fat girl. Anyways, in due time, I realized that Mary would lick, flash, grope, suckle, or openly crush on any and every man that so much as skirted the periphery of her social circle, just so she could convince herself that she had staked her claim to all of them. That's right. Gotta catch 'em all, STDs.
I do you and you do me, STDs.
I don't want to sound prudish or old-fashioned, but I often wondered if Mary was missing out on the genuine human connection part of it all. I don't think that's even a question at all. She absolutely is. Which is kind of sad, because that's like the best part of the whole thing. I don't care if that sounds prudish or old-fashioned. Prudish and old-fashioned things are the best things. Anyway, speaking of human connection, Mary said,
Gather round! I'm playing IMVU, and you guys can be my audience.
Oh god, is that like Second Life knockoff? We've seen this on the channel a few times before. And it's like, if you're really going to invest this much time and have a Second Life, why not just play World of Warcraft? You could be a druid! You can master arcane power. Instead, it's just like, yeah, I went to work in-game and bought a house. Like, what the who cares? Anyway, Mary plopped down on the couch, fired up her laptop, and ordered George Gay to plug the USB cable into the flat screen. The loading screen appeared, and Mary began clicking away on her laptop. I'd heard of this game before, but I thought it sounded boring as hell. All the character models were the same, and they seemed like super normal stimulus versions of Instagram girls or Kardashians. Is there a difference? I don't care. Me either, honestly. Poison yourself how you want to, but this is not to my taste. Furthermore, this game has no objective. You just walk around as an avatar of what I suppose many people consider to be a hottie and chat with other bizarrely proportioned avatars. And apparently the hookup culture is real strong in that game. I mean, yeah, I guess that's the actual objective. To come. I had no interest in virtual hookups. I'd unwillingly participated in IRL hookups with Dennis, thinking they actually meant something. That felt pretty awful. And then I tried casually hooking up on purpose to see if that was any better. Emotionally, yeah, nothing burger. But was it fun? Also no, it was just boring. IMVU proved to be even more boring than my one deliberate IRL hookup. Yeah, that's not something that I really do. I've often said to myself the expectation's probably better than the reality. I'm not interested. The fact that you want to do all that shit, that's nice, and honestly, that's enough for me. Now the date's over, go home. OPS, what was even the point of having us as an audience? Did she want us to tell her which avatars to flirt with? Did we each get a turn hipping our way around the virtual nightclub, hauling around a gargantuan ass and teetering on those stiletto heels? Whatever the case, this wasn't my idea of a fun party activity. I preferred to play video games alone, and then I liked to talk about them at parties. First-person shooters, not virtual hookup bullshit, mind you. I did briefly enjoy Twitch streaming once I discovered it, but then the creeps came out of the woodwork to get weird with female streamers, at least in my experience. Yep, sort of inevitable. Gotta come up with a good way to brush them off. Also, do you play Rainbow Six Siege? Let's play some Rainbow Six Siege. I call smoke. Back in the Legbeard's living room, long before I'd been threatened by strangers over my romance preferences in Cyberpunk 2077, Mary's busty blonde character began sashaying around the nightclub as Mary clicked away at the keyboard, wondering aloud whether the beefcake avatar she was approaching packed a majestic rooster in his tight, shiny trousers. Damn. I wanted a drink. But if this was any indication of how the party was going to go, I figured I should stay sober so that Lucy and I could epididymis as soon as we saw an opportunity. This is it, dude. This is your opportunity. As soon as you get your little compact mirror back, we gotta go. Maybe even before that, screw the mirror. I'd get another one for $5 on eBay. A few guests started carrying on their own conversations, and Mary turned to them and whined,
This is my party! Watch me play! I need this to keep me calm until my whiskey whiskers gets here for some boom boom.
One of the guests headed for the patio with a cigarette and a lighter in hand, and Mary flipped.
Don't you dare ignore me! The hubby's gone, so you can just smoke in the house, but you have to watch me play!
Lucy muttered, Epididymis. OP, yep, for sure. We stood up. Mary whipped her head around.
Lucy Goose, Valley Boo, do not leave me!
Damn. Scary Mary wasn't just a nickname that I'd thrown out there in an attempt to demonstrate how annoying she was being. My ass clenched when she yelled at us. I guess Lucy's ass clenched as well because we both sank back down to the floor. What felt like hours later, Mary was still engaging in shockingly crass chats with random strangers and gleefully narrating the responses that she was getting. Since the crassness of the responses often exceeded the extreme crassness of her original message, I'm guessing that she was either talking to teenagers or neckbeards. Very likely both at the same time. Yeah, it was unsettling. I'm so glad Mary never discovered Twitch. She would actually get gassed up by them simps and whatnot. I mean, on the plus side, she'd never leave her house. Maybe it wouldn't be all bad. And anyway, no one else was talking. A few people seemed to be zoning out. George Strait, of course, remained alert, staring blankly at the mind-numbing tedium unfolding on the TV screen. Megan was playing some game on her phone. I was chain-smoking and listening to music through my earbuds, and Lucy was filming Mary, as well as the balefully bored and bullied party guests. For the record, I think only 10 or 15 minutes had passed, but yeah, it felt like freaking forever. George Gay finally spoke up. Mary, this is boring as shit. You're hosting a party. If we have to play a game, pick one that we can all play. Charades, strip poker, truth or dare, like fucking duck duck goose. Anything but this. And give that Hello Kitty mirror back to Val. Quit being a klepto, Mary.
I'm entertaining you all! I'm in the mood to play IMVU and you're all just being selfish. And Valley owed me, so it's mine now.
I realized that it might take weeks for George to get Mary to feel any shame for staking her claim to my property, seeing as she had firmly convinced herself that she was entitled to it. She also seemed to have convinced herself that she was entitled to do whatever the hell she felt like doing in the moment, and that we were all selfish ingrates for getting bored. You're a joke. Your whole party's a joke. Your whole existence is a joke. I'm leaving and going to the bar down the street, and anybody else who likes the party can come with me. Then the house empties out. She sits there and cries all by herself. Whiskey never shows up. Karmic justice! I took out my earbuds and turned to Lucy. Epididymis? Lucy nodded. OP, make a run for it? Maybe we could reach into her cleavage while she's distracted. Lucy, I'm on it. You run. Start the car. We got up. Mary was now shopping with the in-game currency that she had earned from giving a virtual handy. Honestly, the disgusting exchanges with the neckbeards and teenagers behind the beefcake avatars had been more entertaining than spending money from a fake tug on some fake clothes. I was just so over it. Without hesitating, I got up, keys in hand, and ran towards the door. I could hear Mary screeching, Valley Boo, get your pixie ass back in here, you selfish bitch! And then I heard her scream bloody murder. No! Don't touch me, Lucy! That's mine! Valley owed it to me! I reached in the car, hopped in, and started the engine. Then I saw Lucy emerge from the house, triumphantly holding my Hello Kitty compact over her head. I also saw a few other guests running from the house. Mary was not gonna like that, but yeah, I was done dealing with it. I sped off into the night as Lucy wiped the boob sweat off of her hands, and thus, The most obnoxiously inappropriate woman I've ever known managed to bore an entire house full of people who were there to party to tears. I had predicted that Mary would be naked by the end of the night. I had predicted that she'd give an unsolicited lap dance or two. I had predicted crapulence and mayhem. I most certainly hadn't predicted boredom, especially not that level of boredom. I will give Mary this much. She was full of surprises. Yeah, full of a lot of other things too. Food, bullshit, random strangers' junk juice. Anyway, meanwhile, outside of the Shadowrun house, Whiskers was wallowing amongst the garbage in the backseat of his car, wiggling his hairy face around between the legs of some skank from Beer Goggles. She was blackout drunk, so her reactions were underwhelming and didn't adequately stroke Whiskers' ego, so he kicked her out, sending her tumbling onto the paved sidewalk without the wits or the bodily autonomy to call for help. Jeez, that's pathetic in a whole different type of way. I'm sorry, I can't continue calling him by his more benign name when he's acting like this. Whiskers is what I call him when the mask is in place. The mask is clearly not in place in this instance, so he's once again funky. He's always been funky to me, dude. The mask does not change the person. Funky left this girl to her own impaired devices, stormed back into the house, slammed the door, and crumpled dejectedly to the floor. The evening's entertainment was still going strong, and the rest of the gang was laughing at Moulin Splooge and finishing the El Pollo Loco feast. Maury,
Welcome back, my sweet samurai. Did you have a nice time?
Funky,
No, that chick was rude. She didn't even come.
Sage, where is she now? Funky,
Who fucking cares?
Sage staggered to his feet, made his way outside, and scanned the street. He soon spotted a young girl in tattered emo attire, passed out cold on the sidewalk. Son of a bitch. Sage was pretty snozzled that night, far too snozzled to drive, so he went back inside and announced, "There's an unconscious woman on the sidewalk. Do we try to take care of her, or should we call 911? Funky,
Hey, don't you dare call the cops. She's zonked out by my car. They're gonna think I did something illegal.
which, yeah, you did. You violated a drunk woman. Maury, didn't you? Funky grunted. Snorlax, how old is she? Funky,
I don't know.
Athena, seriously? You kinda deserve to get arrested. I say we call 911. Funky,
Fuck you guys. I'm leaving.
thank God. The beard staggered outside, flopped into his clunker, and swerved down the street. Maury called 911, and the gang went outside to sit with the unconscious girl until the ambulance arrived. Athena started to pull the poor girl's underwear back up so she could maintain some dignity in front of the paramedics, but the stench of her crotch was too much for the shaman. Maury figured he could tolerate the funk, but he quickly declared that they should leave the girl untouched, so that Funky would have to be a big boy and face some consequences if an R-kit proved to be incriminating. Snorlax grabbed a towel from inside and simply draped it over the girl's nakedness. The paramedics had a ton of questions, but the Shadowrun crew played dumb when it came to giving up the asshole who did this. They just reported that they heard a car door slam, heard a car peel out, and then found this unconscious girl on the sidewalk. And I keep saying girl because, yeah, she was underage. Holy fuck. Can I shoot him now, boss? Like him and Mary together at the same time. I guess Mary's less egregious, but yeah, just 2 birds, 1 bullet, it's fine. Anyways, that's it for this chapter. I hope you'll join me in the next one, where we'll meet a pervy pest from my past, and somebody's gonna get corn! Well, it sounded to me like Mary already got cornholed, but you know, a little bit more couldn't hurt. That ending was like a punch in the gut, though. Why did the girl have to be underage? It's awful. I hope he does suffer some consequences. Put him in jail for a little bit. Maybe it'll help him to chill out. Good lord. I hope you guys will let me know what you thought in the comments. Like the video if you did. Dislike it if you didn't. That's fine too. I hope you'll hit up my Patreon. We got some free videos over there. You can also sign up as a member. Send me a message. I'll even reply. But most importantly, friends, I just want you to remember that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Promise, swears